Hello, everyone. Joseph from Noteful here, and excited to be here training you for the TOEFL listening. So, those of you following this series of free live classes, this is going to be our TOEFL listening masterclass part 2 of 2. Because if in our last free training, we covered probably 50% of what I wanted. So, I'm going to review what we covered last week quickly to bring everybody up to date. And then we're going to keep training on the TOEFL listening so that you master every question type. You know what to expect on your TOEFL listening section, and you're prepared to do better with the training. What are the question types testing you on, and how are you going to get the answers correct? So excited to be with you. I see our students coming in. So I want to scroll down here. We're going to cover the outline today. Let me say hello. Hello, Human. Great to have you here. High five right on time. Say your hello so I can say hello to you. We feel good. We create a good connection together, right? So joining us from YouTube, excellent. So the first thing that we're going to do as usual is we're going to center ourselves for class, and that's going to be great training for us to keep our energy calm and engaged for this class and for your TOEFL. The student survey I'm going to do as well, just to reconnect with everybody a little bit. I just have a sense that this is almost like the last class. So I feel like, oh, we had that survey, but always fun to do it again. We're going to do a really quick listening overview because the previous class had that. When we upload this in the comments or in the description, where we have it on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, I'll make sure to include the link to our first class. So those of you who missed it, you can make sure to watch it and kind of have the whole experience. We're going to review the question types we covered in the last class about 2 weeks ago from this live recording, and then move on to the new ones. Inference, a lot of good stuff. And we're going to practice. And then I'll tell you about how to continue working with Noteful for those of you who are already not a part of the training. So let's say our hellos. Suhel, welcome. Hello to you. Happy you're here and you made it. We're going to train hard today. Celine, welcome as well. Gina, hello. Happy to have you here. Romani, welcome. Vanessa, great to have you here. We're going to train hard in our listening, do our best to improve. Maya, hello. Hey, right back to you. Marzaya, welcome. Niliet, hello. Great to have you here. So, of course, as we go through the training, the beauty of the live classes is this, the comments and the interaction. So feel free to ask your questions because whatever you ask, I'm going to make sure to answer 100%. So you can feel, wow, today, any trouble or issue I have with the TOEFL, I can get my personal help. Karem, welcome. Love that picture. Romani, always good to see you too. Always great to be connected. And I see that a lot of us also, Shital, welcome, are joining us on YouTube, which is great because we started to make it a little bit easier so that you can find the link to the live class. So great to see that you're all using the different platforms. And I see YouTube is way more popular than Facebook at the moment. But Facebook is great. So if you're watching us there, all good. So, Yaya, hello. I'm happy to be with you. Excited, a great morning. Usama, Karen, Eslam, Mohammed, great energy in the morning, right? Feels good to know that we're really a group and we're all working to improve together. Siham, Beast, Freddie, awesome. Elsita, Bestman, welcome. So, some new names and some familiar names who are already in the training or the previous classes. So, welcome to each of you. So, let's go ahead and get started, right? So, the first thing I'm going to do is give a little speech with Miss Froggy here and remind you that in all the success stories, and just as a reminder, everything you're learning here works. You can feel comfortable that the training is based on real TOEFL experience and results. I've taken the TOEFL already, the new TOEFL, 3 times, scored perfects in all sections. We have success stories coming in. So, Froggy here is just to support you in that, okay, this training is telling me what the TOEFL is about, what it takes to succeed, and It's also good training to remind us that on the TOEFL, we're going to have to deal with stress that comes up. Sometimes you don't do very well in the reading section, and then you feel the energy of maybe giving up. So you need something to change that. Also, in the speaking section, you may start to feel overwhelmed. Maybe something happens in the test center around you. If you're taking it in the test center, maybe at home you have something distracting, you have some tech trouble. So, this is a really good practice to center yourself and do your best because we've had a lot of success stories over the years who have talked about how important this was to keep them engaged and how it helped to have that perspective because they felt, I did really bad in the listening. I want to give up in the writing, cancel the TOEFL scores, but let me just do my best. And they passed that TOEFL. So just full power from beginning to end. And to help you with that, three parts, right? Deep breathing, that's what Froggy represents. Slow breath in through the nose, 6 to 8 seconds, out through the mouth, 6 to 8 seconds. Eyes closed to eliminate distraction and things that are stressing you. And positive self statements, because that's where you get the most stress from, right? Something practical and something meaningful, right? Our last success story said, I'm a TOEFL machine, right? I'm a TOEFL machine. I can do it. I'm going to stay calm. I'm relaxed. I'm going to pass. I'm getting better. Whatever it takes to get you into that right mind space. So, three parts: deep breathing, eyes closed, positive thinking. We're going to do that 1 minute to get ourselves ready for class and to practice this so that we can apply it on the TOEFL. Let's see over here. Good morning to Jonathan before we get started. Yep, Gina, time to study. Love those little books there. Farsan, happy you're interested in here. Great. Magdalena, welcome. Welcome. Happy you're here as well. So 1 minute for this training starting now. And I'm back. So that 1 minute, everybody. Now we continue feeling good and positive and a little bit of a student survey. So, four quick questions to reconnect with everybody who's now attending. I know we have some new students here. So, first question to text into your comments 1, 2, 3, 4. Have you taken the TOEFL before? Have you studied a Noteful course before? This gives me a perspective of where you are. So, as I train, I can say things to help you if you're new. 3, when do you plan to take your TOEFL? Really good for me to know, be aware of it. Also, say good luck to those of you taking it soon. And what are you taking the TOEFL for? And just a little example you see here, your answer would therefore in the comments be 1, no, never taken the TOEFL. 2, no, haven't studied with Noteful. 3, planning in the middle of April to take my TOEFL. 4, for my physics PhD, engineering PhD, master's degree, MBA. My continuing students, always great for you to share that just to connect with our new group. Or, yes, yes, no date yet because you're just studying hard until you get better for pharmacy or physical therapy or whatever it may be. So go ahead, start sending those in. A great way for us to connect as a group. Anderson, oh, let's see, let me get to you, Mohammed, in a bit. Anderson, good morning to you. Syed, hi, Joseph. This month I took the test. I hope you got good results. I'm happy you're here studying. I imagine that either you find you need to improve more or you're doing the great habit that I recommend to everybody. You take the TOEFL on Saturday, keep studying on Monday because you want to study, keep the momentum, keep the strength until you get your dream score. So let's see, Muhammad. Yes, taking the TOEFL, new to Noteful. Last year you took it. PhD, awesome. No, haven't taken it. Yes, you're a Noteful student. Excellent, Monica. May 1st is your plan. Good, we got some time. FPGEE, which means pharmacy. So, no, yes, next May, pharmacy, Meyer. Siham, yes, yes, May, pharmacy. Excellent. Yes, videos on YouTube. So great. I'm happy we have this live connection, Maya. 6th of April. So coming soon. You got a few weeks for university. Great. Romani, first, 23rd. I think first TOEFL, you got 23, second 29. That's fantastic. And yes, with Noteful, April, pharmacy, good. A lot of us are taking the TOEFL soon. Good for me to know. Good luck to everybody. Saeed, 106, high five. Love it. Beautiful. Happy you're here. Are you here just to share in the positive energy? Saeed let us know he took the TOEFL using the suggestions, the free sessions, scored 106, as well as your unbelievable training and ability. That's the key, right? Bravo. Amazing score. Good energy for us all. Islam, yes, yes. Using free material with Noteful and others, great. In 4 days. Good luck. High five to you. Good energy for everybody. Dentistry, we have many dental students, so no, you need your 100 plus. Shital as well. Yes, taking the TOEFL. No, new to Noteful, early April dentistry. Now I'm going to click through these a little bit faster just so that we can move forward. But again, really good for us to see, connect as a group, and good for me as well. So let me go ahead, click through these. Celine, dentistry, Sayed, beautiful scores. Reading 24, listening 30, speaking 28. Bravo, writing 24. Amazing, Sayed. Lets us know what's all possible. Thank you for sharing this. Wonderful. Send us an email if you'd like to post your success story. So maybe you can give feedback to students on how you prepared, how you did well in each section. Rina, I'm gonna Mrinalina. Oh, Mrinalini. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. Mrinalini. Beautiful. Karam. Nice. Gina. Vanessa. Very cool. Marine. Eva. Suhiel. Lizeri. James. Mohammed. Sayed. Awesome. Armazaya. So don't worry, everybody. We're just going to click through this. Good for me to know as I teach to see your. Oh, let me say your name. Dak Royamaliv Rohit Anu Sayed Sumeya. Very cool, right? So you see, once more, awesome to connect with each of you. Happy you posted that. Gave me a good awareness of where we all are. And one thing that you notice is everyone here is really taking the TOEFL for, as we expect, professional experiences, professional situations, looking for top scores. So I'm going to do my best to give you the training to level you up to get your dream score so that the listening section contributes to your success. And we build that skill for the speaking and writing where we have to listen as well. So super cool to connect with each of you. Thank you for sharing that. Thumbs up to all of you. Now let's do a quick review. As I said before, this class is part 2 of 2 classes, And in the first class, we covered the basics. So the TOEFL listening overview will be super fast in this class. I'll have the link. You can check our feed for the first class. And in the listening, you get two styles of listenings: conversations and lectures. The question types that I'm presenting to you appear in both. And the training we have is specific for the lecture because most students have trouble with the lectures more than the conversations. But the way we're training here helps you for both. So again, just like a nice reminder, if you've never taken the TOEFL, it's like, okay, I'm going to review the first class, and I know I get 5 listenings that are either going to be in the style of lectures, a professor teaching an academic topic, or a conversation between a student and a campus employee or a professor trying to fix or solve something that the student needs help with. And then this I'm going to spend a little bit of time on as a reminder. So you get 5 questions for every conversation, 6 questions for every lecture. And those questions are divided into question types. And by knowing those question types, the style of question, we gain confidence, we gain clarity, we know what to expect, we know how to answer, and we do better. So the first kind of question is main idea. We covered that in the first class 2 weeks ago. The next kind of question is detail. We covered that in the last class. So main idea is, what is the whole conversation or lecture about? Detail is what you can imagine asking for facts and information. Did you get this? Did you understand this? Purpose, I like to call it a reverse detail. So essentially, it means why did the professor mention this? Why was this stated? And so we covered that. Inference is where we left. So today we start with inference questions. These are questions that test your ability to understand what I call grammatical algebra. And what that means is that you're able to know how words influence meaning. For example, I have here most and every. So if I say most most scientists believe this theory, most scientists believe this theory. The inference will come from the most because the idea is that some don't. There is still a debate because it's not scientists believe this theory, which means all of them, or it's a unified idea. Most implies some don't. Implies is where the inference comes from. Number 5, we're also going to cover today opinion attitude, a very important question type where you learn or you answer what the professor's feeling was about something using intonation, tone of voice, and vocabulary. The professor liked or disliked something, thought it was effective, ineffective. Listen again questions are where you hear part of the conversation or lecture. A sentence or two is played back to you. And it's almost like a question of vocabulary or idiomatic expression. They're testing you, did you understand this statement? Do you know what it means, these words and how they were used with the intonation? Or do you misunderstand them? So 6 is listen again, a little bit like vocab in the TOEFL reading. And then number 7 is structure. It's a very rare question. However, I have it here just in case you get it. And because it's great training, because answering these questions correctly helps you, helps you know, like being able to answer it means you're better able to listen because you can follow the development of an idea. So welcome everybody. I see Bestman, great, and Beta, great to have you here. Hello, everybody coming in. So let's review what we covered. We have a lecture that I was reading out loud to you as part of the practice. We covered the main idea question in the first class. Remember, you can review. You see that here. Covered the second question, detail. Third question, purpose. So if you struggle with those, and now we go to inference. So what I'm going to do now is read out loud the lecture as if I'm the professor. I'd like you to get out your scratch paper. This class isn't on note taking. We had a class on that before. And just listen and take your notes the best you can. and then I'm gonna give you the question. You do your best, you submit your answers, and then we review together and learn. It's gonna be great. So everybody prepare to listen, scratch paper ready, and then Meyer, you say you're having a little trouble with the connection. Right now, the way it looks in my system, we're okay with our broadcast, but probably, just the nature of it, it might have a bad connection here or there. So I hope it clears up. Anybody having trouble, let me know as well. Sometimes logging off, logging back in can help. So I hope this is clear for most of us. So look away from the screen so you don't see the transcript. Begin your notes. Here we go. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the lecture because rather than go from the middle, which may be a little disorienting, we'll start from the beginning. So, notes ready? Here we go, everybody. Farms in the United States face numerous challenges. Each can be an important reason for why a farm may develop into a long lasting success or a short term failure. The development of farming as a successful business practice evolved in a unique way. You see, in the early years of agricultural mass production in the US, farmers ran their farms personally. Then, managers were brought in by investors because of the growing complexity that arose when farmers worked to produce more and more goods for sale. If we look closely, we can learn a great deal about the development by understanding the changes brought on by managers. Managers who entered farms came not because farmers were poorly qualified to run farms. Farms are complex systems that were run successfully by farmers until the demand for production increased dramatically in the 20th century. Managers arrived when investors initially discovered that farms were indeed an industry, a business sector worth looking at and investing in. They saw that farms could produce at scales never seen or even thought of before. Managers came in as a result to help implement the equipment, systems, and several other factors necessary to turn farms into entities that could rival any large business. When managers first arrived, they brought with them new equipment that carried out functions that older equipment did, but at a significantly larger scale. The equipment to plant, nurture, and harvest crops could be operated by fewer persons and produce far larger crops. Large plows were one piece of equipment that illustrated this most. Before, plows were operated by one person and could prepare one line of soil for seeding. With a large plow, multiple lines of soil could be prepared by one person. With a few large plows, a team could prepare much more land than that same team could with smaller standard plows. Unfortunately, not all managers that came in to support farmers to scale their farms found things simple. They often struggled earning the respect of farmers who didn't trust many of the managers that did not have backgrounds in farming. Farmers found it hard to believe that managers, most of whom came in for two, sometimes three growing seasons without prior knowledge, could find the right system that worked for their specific farm with their specific crop. But as a result of the faith that investors had in the industry and patience on both sides, the farmers and managers, many of the farms found great success. So that's our lecture so far, and I caught us up. That's a lecture that we manufactured. And so here's your question. What can be inferred about managers after they started working on farms? I'm going to give you 38 seconds, which is the average amount of time you have to answer on the TOEFL. Remember, our answering process for all questions follows a specific technique. Let me take that question away and remind you that what it is you read the question, you think to yourself, you look at your notes to help you answer, you think of the answer, right? Just to guess a sense of what it could be. and then look at the answer choices to see what matches what you think. And as a result, you'll be less likely to be tricked by wrong answer choices. So let's give that a try. Text your answers in the comments once you have it. Good luck. Keep your answers coming in. Text them in the comments. So I asked earlier about, how the connection was, the internet connection. So Jawan, no means things are going well, no trouble. Eva, you had some problems. Sorry about that. So I think it's the nature of the of having a live broadcast. So we're not getting too many reports. So if it starts to get worse, let me know. But I think it's probably clearing up. So seeing your answers, yeah, Sayed, you too? So what I can say is perhaps give a try for those of you who found Noteful through Facebook. Facebook might be having a little bit of trouble. So if the Facebook connection is giving you trouble, try watching the broadcast on YouTube. If you can find the link, if not, maybe for future reference in the class. That way you have two broadcasts, two options in case one doesn't work, because it seems like it might be concentrated on Facebook. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, yeah. So try YouTube or LinkedIn. Interesting, interesting. So sorry for those of you on Facebook having trouble. Let me just do a little check to see if I can see the issue. As far as I can tell, it on our end, it looks good on Facebook. So what I would say is try refreshing the page, coming back, a different device or a different platform. So sorry about that, everybody. So let's go ahead and look because I see a lot of answers and a variety. The good thing is everybody pretty much avoided A. We can tell that A is incorrect simply because it doesn't relate to the information that we learned. They did not agree on what systems worked best for farms is not discussed, right? There wasn't a conversation, there wasn't anything about conflict. Let's go ahead and look at this transcript. So inference means something that we can understand from what we heard. So what did we learn? Unfortunately, not all managers that came in to support farmers to scale their farms found things simple. In other words, it was difficult, it was challenging. They often struggled earning the respect of farmers who didn't trust many of the managers that did not have backgrounds in farming. So, facts that make sense to us, farmers found it hard to believe that managers, most of whom came in for 2, sometimes 3 growing seasons without prior knowledge could find the right system that worked for their specific farm with their specific crop. But as a result of the faith that investors had in the industry and patience on both sides, the farmers and managers, many of the farms, found great success. If we look here, we see A is not supported because did not agree, let me highlight that, did not agree is not something that we have implied. Very few of them continued working in the farm industry. What can be inferred about managers? So let's go ahead and take a look over here. This is a quick detail, but if you look, we see in the lecture, and this is something you pick up, a short detail, is farmers found it hard to believe that managers, most of whom came in for 2, sometimes 3 growing seasons. So most of whom came in for 2, sometimes 3 growing seasons means yes or no. Did the managers stay on the farm for a long period of time? Yes or no? 2, sometimes 3, most. 2, sometimes 3. Let me get some comments in there. No, right? They left. They didn't stay for a long period of time. So B, very few, which is the opposite of most, few, right? Of them continued working in the farm industry. Hmm, maybe, right? I'm not quite sure. So this A is definitely a no. It's not supported, it's not represented, but this is a maybe. We saw it very clearly in the information. If you didn't catch it when you heard it, it's okay. That's why we're training. C, so few of they were puzzled by the challenge that arose when working with farmers. So they were puzzled by the challenge. Do we have an inference that they were puzzled by the challenge? Puzzled means confused, didn't know what to do. We've already read this carefully. The only thing that we have here is that not all managers found things simple. They often, now why? Why? They often struggled earning the respect of farmers. So why was it not simple? Not the solution, not the implementation of equipment. They found the relationship with farmers difficult. That's the difficulty. But we learn that as a result of patience and work together, they found great success. So they were puzzled by the challenge that arose when working with farmers. So this one, I would say, I guess I could understand if you chose this, but this is a maybe. But puzzled is not maybe puzzled by the challenge that wasn't stated. Only those that had backgrounds in farming found success? Well, actually, the opposite. As a result of the faith that investors had in the industry and patience on both sides, the farmers and managers, many of the farms found great success, meaning most farms found success, and most of the managers did not have prior knowledge, which means D is incorrect. Only those that had backgrounds in farming found great success is incorrect. So that's a no, because those that didn't have backgrounds also succeeded. So our choice needs to be either B or C. And I think if you look here, the one that is most directly supported stayed for a few, we have stayed for 2 or 3 seasons, and we have not all managers found things simple because they had to earn respect. So very few of them continued working in the farm industry, maybe. They were puzzled by the challenge that arose when working with farmers. For me, the best answer is B. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah, and I see Juwan and Romani. Are you also, I think you're saying struggling because, oh, you were answering. I thought you were talking about the Facebook broadcast. But correct. The manager struggled, but not the sense of puzzled, right? Doesn't just it's like you're struggling to lift a weight. That doesn't imply that you're confused. So this word is the one that's tricking students because it seems like it's connected, but it's not. So everyone clear? B boy comprehension check. Let me know in the chat. Make sense? So let me try. I'm going to text in the comments how to follow us on Facebook. Sorry, how to follow us on YouTube. So if you're having trouble, that broadcast looks like it's going well. Which word in the lecture implies very few? So very may be extreme, but the opposite of most. right? What's the opposite of most? Some, maybe few. So that's the one that's most justified. And again, review, feel comfortable, just training. So as you can see where inference comes from, because they say most stayed for 2 or 3 seasons, that implies very few of them continued. Most stayed for 2 or 3 seasons implies that some stayed longer. So very few of them continued working in the farm industry. It implies that many came and left. And that's the best answer out of the four, which is always something that we think of. We're not looking for the perfect answer, but the best out of the four as well. So, with that said, we have comprehension check looking good. Gloria, Amarzaya, Beta, Rayamaliv. Yes, I can't pronounce your name, unfortunately, but happy it makes sense. Magdalena, Celine, excellent. I thought B meant they left the job, not continue working on the farm. Well, that's kind of sometimes a reminder to read carefully, to read every word of the answer choice. And that's a great picture. Is that a little dog? I should know the name of that kind of dog. Good, good, good. And then Maya didn't pay attention to such things before. So now we're learning, right? We're getting there. Excellent. Love the yeses from everybody. Now let's listen and keep taking notes for our next question. So the story continues, the lecture continues. None of this is very surprising. It's how anyone might respond if people who are not familiar with your business came into your business and started telling you what to do and how to do it. But what is surprising is how quickly farmers appreciated the work of the managers, and then how soon after significant changes were made that managers left to support other industries investors saw potential in. Farming is an industry that is so essential for life that it's something investors should not have moved on from, but perhaps in time they will revisit their investment with renewed focus. I mean, think of the success they had, right? Or am I missing something? Now, there are two things that I want to say. Because of the nature of the training, I wanted to do one section of the lecture with one question so that it would be a little bit more connected to review. But when you review both classes, you're going to find that as you listen to the lecture from beginning to end, ideas are supported. And by the end of the lecture, things are clear. For example, in the question that we just did with inference, we had the statement that made it very clear that many managers came and left. And if you notice, we had the information there. However, the lecture continues, right? Every lecture continues from what was discussed before. It's a complete story. And the idea of managers leaving is repeated in the next piece of information, the next unit, as we say, which would make B even more clear. And that's why when you comprehend from beginning to end, the professor, as he or she speaks, is going to be periodically, sometimes, repeating information said earlier. So when our comprehension improves, things get even easier. So for those of you who felt, oh, that was pretty tough because it was one piece of information, true, but it's developed in the next unit, meaning the important points on the TOEFL that you're asked about are often not just one sentence stated by the professor. It's often the important idea that is repeated and developed. So just wanted to give you that comfort if you felt, whoa, that was just like one sentence and I missed it. It's going to be developed if it's important, and that's what you're going to be asked about. And here is our opinion attitude question, where you get to see, what is the feeling of the professor? What is the professor's attitude? Oh, ha 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 ha. I think this here was from a different question. What is the professor's attitude towards the managers who left the farm? Careful working on too many lectures at once. So 38 seconds. What is the professor's attitude towards the managers who left the farm? Starting now. Text your answers when you have them. I think this was a little tougher. Keep the answers coming, but I like it. We're getting there because the class, I hope, is meant to teach you to learn how to listen, what to pay attention to. Let me scroll back up here and let's look at our transcript of our lecture. We know that opinions and attitudes, questions, you're going to get 0 to 1 per listening. You're always going to get a few of these because sometimes you don't get it in one lecture, but if you don't get it in one lecture, you'll get it in the others. It is a common question. And this question forces you to pay attention to languages of feeling and intonation because the professor is usually going to say something, even the student and the in the conversation and the campus employee, something about and perspective. So if we look at this, none of this is very surprising. It's how anyone might respond if people who are not familiar with your business, came into your business and started telling you what to do and how to do it. So the first statement, the opinion of the professor is, it's normal. Normal. The response to managers is normal and understandable, according to the professor. That's the first opinion. Next, but what is surprising is how quickly farmers appreciated the work of the managers, and then how soon after significant changes were made that managers left to support other industries investors saw potential in. Now, this is the next feeling, and it's about two things. So we have what is surprising. So, first, not very surprising, understandable. Second, what is surprising? This is what surprises the professor, very important to keep in mind. One, how quickly farmers appreciated the work of the managers, meaning he's surprised about the farmers saying, okay, after maybe a year, I like working with you. I like what you're doing. Forget about my previous discomfort. I'm ready to work with you. So he's like, wow, they got along pretty fast. I'm surprised by how quickly they got along together, farmers and managers. And then we have two. This is the second surprise opinion attitude of the professor. How soon after significant changes were made that managers left? And as I said before, do you notice the previous question also emphasized this length and duration of the managers in the farm? And as I said before, it's both good and bad, benefits and drawbacks to teaching you in this way. I like it because for training, you get to see how questions come from each unit of information. I'm going to review that. Like in a lecture, every 30 to 60 seconds, the professor is discussing a topic. And then that topic, right, you see it here on the screen, you're going to get a question on it. So by reading the lecture in pieces, you're seeing how the questions appear in order on your TOEFL. They'll do that. So the questions will be in order of the lecture conversation from beginning, middle to end. And the TOEFL will test you on each kind of unit of information. But when you finish the lecture, you do get the sense of what's important, what's being repeated, what's being developed. So this opinion attitude is on the same thing here. Like, how could they leave so fast? And then the professor goes more deeply into that, explaining that farming is an industry that is so essential for life that it's something investors should not have moved on from. That's another opinion, attitude, right? Like, why did you guys leave so fast? This is a big deal. You were doing a great job, but perhaps in time, they will revisit their investment with renewed focus. I mean, think of the success they had, right? Or am I missing something? So you see the development here. I'm going to change this color so that you can see that there's a lot of content on why did they leave so fast? And then here, perhaps, maybe they'll come back. So if we go back over here, there were a lot of us that chose, let's review each answer choice. So he is surprised, looks good, but what is he surprised about? He is surprised manager, like the industry left quickly, and he's surprised, a little bit of information at how quickly they got along. Now he is surprised at how long it took farmers to appreciate managers. This is opposite. He is surprised at how fast, not how long, which implies long duration. He is surprised at how long it took farmers to appreciate managers. No, he is surprised at how quickly farmers appreciate it. So the TOEFL usually does this where it takes a statement that's correct and makes it the opposite. So A is a no, not how long it took, how quickly. That was the surprise. So A, if you were tricked by it, I'm happy you're in the class because it teaches you and reminds you, I got to be aware of that. So B, he is upset. Well, that itself, so he is surprised works. How long? No, right? He is upset. I believe that itself, we can say B is incorrect because upset is not justified. The professor was talking about surprise, not surprise, but this upset is too strong. He is upset that managers experience so many difficulties at first. So that idea is really not mentioned. C, he is not confident. What is he not confident about? Well, think about confident. I don't know that I like that word because again, upset seems a bit extreme. Confident, surprise, but there is some confidence in that he he wants, like, maybe they're going to come back. Maybe the investors are going to reinvest. So he is not confident, I don't like. It would be more like he is somewhat confident that the investors will come back. So he's not confident that they'll stay away or something like that. That managers did enough to help farmers succeed? Maybe. Maybe. I like that because he's saying they should be there longer. But this not confident, managers he is not confident that managers did enough, but they did succeed. So I don't like this, but maybe. I don't know. If D looks incorrect, C is the answer, but let's check D. He is hopeful. Hopeful, I didn't hear, but maybe. Like we said at the end, he says maybe they'll come back. There was success. So hope is somewhat justified. That investors will help farmers even more in the future. I would like in the future, but I'm not sure. So for me, I say this is a maybe to a yes. Like this feels pretty strong because it's directly connected to this statement, which is the main opinion. Farming is an industry that is so essential for life that it's something investors should not have moved on from. But perhaps in time, they will revisit their investment with renewed focus. So maybe. I mean, think of the success they had, which implies there's a lot of potential to do more business together. So when you compare C and D, because these questions aren't really what's true, it's like, what's the main point here? What's the professor logically emphasizing? And the professor is emphasizing, why did you leave so early? Come back to the farmers. So that is D more than C with the content. Comprehension check. Let me know in the comments. Does that make sense, everybody? Clear, unclear? Let me know if you have any questions. So, Jawan, but if we want to ask about this short period, for example, we will ask, how long did it take farmers to appreciate managers, even if the answer was a short period? Correct. Correct, Jawan. But that's a detailed question, right? Like if I ask you, how long did it take you to complete this task? 6 days, 6 minutes, 10 hours. It's just a fact of information. But here, this is an opinion. So it's like, what is the main thing the professor has an opinion about? And so his surprise is how quickly. And so he is surprised at how long it took farmers to appreciate managers. This language means it, it took longer than expected, right? If I say I'm surprised how long that movie was, no one's going to think it was short, right? The language itself reflects longer than I expected. So slightly idiomatic because if you take it away and you just ask how long, it's a fact. There's no short or fast or long. But if I say I'm surprised how long it took so long, that means longer length of time. And I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know again in the chat, but it's the idiomatic usage of the word. Good, good. And I see in general, everyone here, love the yeses, makes sense. Appreciate the comments. Always fun to have that live back and forth. So we have an inference, we have an opinion attitude. Let's do a listen again. And as we said before, that's where you hear something and it's a little bit of vocabulary. Like, do you know the meaning of these expressions? It's about tone of voice. And also on the TOEFL, you do not get the transcript, you just hear it. But because of the class, because I'm reading it out loud, I keep the transcript there. So you don't see it, but you hear it once. So, why does the professor say this? I mean, think of the success they had, right? Or am I missing something? Why does the professor say that? A, B, C, or D? And remember, everybody, be comfortable guessing. 38 seconds on the TOEFL. As I said, I talked a bit about time management in the first class, but just as a reminder, like submit your answers if you haven't already. On the TOEFL, you're given listenings in sets. So you have 5 total listenings. 5 total listenings. Let me do the 5 on the screen. And the first two are a conversation and a lecture. So 11 questions, right? 5 for the conversation, 6 for the lecture. And what the TOEFL does is it'll give you 6.5 minutes to answer those 11 questions. So the question is read out loud as I'm reading it out loud, and then the timer counts down from 6 minutes 30 seconds for you to choose. So I'm giving you 38 seconds per question because that's the average if you do the math, but you might answer some questions faster so you can have more time for others. But so you spend about 30 seconds to 1 minute per question, but on average about 35 to 40 seconds. So I noticed that some questions are taking you more time than others. Make sure you're comfortable guessing on the TOEFL. 35 to 38 seconds each. Monitor the time. and feel comfortable that guessing is a part of the TOEFL. You just want to breathe and which one makes the most sense to you. So the answer really comes here. Or am I missing something? Because that expresses self doubt. What the professor is saying is, I have an expectation. I believe the manager should come back. Or am I missing something? To emphasize that managers missed opportunities to further develop farms. They're just playing with words. As I said, it's testing your vocabulary, it's testing your understanding of the meaning of how the word is used. The professor is saying, I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I don't understand something. Maybe they left for a reason. So it's an expression of self doubt. I'm missing something in my understanding of the situation, not the managers missed something. So this is using the same word, but with a different meaning. To confirm that he provided enough information for students. Well, again, this is misusing it because he's not saying, did I miss something for you, the student? It's, am I missing something in my understanding for why managers left so early? Why did investors stop investing in farms? So, again, this uses the same word, but it puts it in a different meaning. Now, C and D are both fighting each other, they mean different things to indicate that his opinion is one that everyone should agree with. So, everyone should agree with. Hmm. Well, that's opposite here. Like, there's some energy of that. Like, the professor is confident in his or her feeling. But am I missing something is a statement that expresses self doubt. So, if that were not there, I believe C is a little strong, but somewhat justified. But am I missing something is going against the professor's own opinion. So I would say this doesn't look so good. So I maybe to no, right? Maybe it's the answer, but I don't really like it because the statement here is self doubt. So if you can't really see that, remember to read the answer choices with care, to think about it first in your head, because if you think about it first in your head, I think it would be the professor has an opinion about something, but is not certain of it. And to show that he may not have a complete understanding. That's it right there, a complete understanding. It matches perfect. Am I missing something? Which literally means maybe I don't understand the whole situation. So D is the correct answer. That's the meaning. And you see how, actually, let me make it green. Let me go up here, make these green as well for consistency, just for fun. And you get to kind of see all the hard work we did. So let's go back down here. Comprehension check, everybody. Does that make sense? Yes, no, D is our answer. And we see how we were tricked because we're not only here to test ourselves with questions, but to see when we get them incorrect, what's causing that. Feed me that feedback, everybody. Let me know how you're doing. Great, great, great. Right? Any questions, let me know. And review, review, review. That's going to make everything clear. So now we have a structure question. And I'm going to now just repeat the lecture from beginning to end, just to reconnect you with it. And then I'm going to ask the structure question, which is your ability to see how is this idea developed. And then we have here, yes, but I believe that C is right. If this were deleted, right? But it's there. So C goes against that. It's like saying, I think everyone should agree with me, but maybe not, right? I've just contradicted myself. So that the answer would therefore be the professor's not sure if everyone should agree with him because the professor is speaking. And so the first statement is everyone should agree with me, but maybe I'm wrong. That shows a shift. So it's a narrative, right? It shows a change. So, am I missing something is an expression of doubt. And that's what this question is asking. So, C is not correct because of that one sentence. All right. And then we got this news. Diana from the December Diamond, course, I think also the Gold course. So finally scheduled my test for the end of May. High five. You're feeling confident. Good luck for you and everybody. Happy that you're here doing the bonus training. Let's listen again. You can take out a fresh sheet of scratch paper, listen once more from the beginning, just to review everything we covered and strengthen your understanding of each answer. So here we go, everybody. Fresh notes from the beginning, one more time. Farms in the United States face numerous challenges. Each can be an important reason for why a farm may develop into a long lasting success or a short term failure. The development of farming as a successful business practice evolved in a unique way. You see, in the early years of agricultural mass production in the US, farmers ran their farms personally. Then, managers were brought in by investors because of the growing complexity that arose when farmers worked to produce more and more goods for sale. If we look closely, we can learn a great deal about the development by understanding the changes brought on by managers. Managers who entered farms came not because farmers were poorly qualified to run farms. Farms are complex systems that were run successfully by farmers until the demand for production increased dramatically in the 20th century. Managers arrived when investors initially discovered that farms were indeed an industry, a business sector worth looking at and investing in. They saw that farms could produce at scales never seen or even thought of before. Managers came in as a result to help implement the equipment, systems, and several other factors necessary to turn farms into entities that could rival any large business. When managers first arrived, they brought with them new equipment that carried out functions that older equipment did, but at a significantly larger scale. The equipment to plant, nurture, and harvest crops could be operated by fewer persons and produce far larger crops. Large plows were one piece of equipment that illustrated this most. Before, plows were operated by one person and could prepare one line of soil for seeding. With a large plow, multiple lines of soil could be prepared by one person. With a few large plows, a team could prepare much more land than that same team could with smaller standard plows. Unfortunately, not all managers that came in to support farmers to scale their farms found things simple. They often struggled earning the respect of farmers, who didn't trust many of the managers that did not have backgrounds in farming. Farmers found it hard to believe that managers, most of whom came in for two, sometimes three growing seasons, without prior knowledge, could find the right system that worked for their specific farm with their specific crop. But as a result of the faith that investors had in the industry and patience on both sides, the farmers and managers, many of the farms found great success. None of this is very surprising. It's how anyone might respond if people who are not familiar with your business came into your business and started telling you what to do and how to do it. But what is surprising is how quickly farmers appreciated the work of the managers and then how soon after significant changes were made that managers left to support other industries investors saw potential in. Farming is an industry that is so essential for life that it's something investors should not have moved on from. But perhaps in time, they will revisit their investment with renewed focus. I mean, think of the success they had, right? Or am I missing something? So now we have that whole lecture from beginning to end, and it feels like a unified idea. We're going to be finishing our class in just a few minutes. And Giuliani, yes, this class is being recorded. So wherever you're watching it from, you're watching it on Facebook, you'll see that when the recording, when our class finishes, our live class right now finishes, the recording will pretty much appear almost instantaneously or within a few minutes. So you'll be able to review it from the beginning and into the future. Great training for everybody. Keep reviewing. So here's your structure question. The professor develops the lecture in which of the following ways? Think about your head. How was this developed? How was it explained, the topic? 38 seconds. Choose your answer. Begin. Keep those answers coming in, everybody. Let's review. To start, it all starts with understanding the main idea because structure questions are very connected with main idea questions. So let's just do a quick review of main idea. I had it in yellow, just playing with color. Let's turn it into green. What is the lecture mainly about? Differences between how farms ran with managers compared to without. And how did that come about? Like, how did we know that? If we look closely, we can learn a great deal about the development by understanding the changes brought on by managers. So if we look closely, we can learn a great deal about the development. We're going to learn about something. So what do we call it when we learn about something like this? What did the professor begin with? A theory, therefore, is incorrect because a theory means this is a possible explanation for something that is not certain, but this is a historical occurrence. So as a result, A is no. We just the word theory is incorrect. A topic that works. I like it because a development learning about, that's the topic. It's not a theory, it's an event in the past. An explanation, maybe, because an explanation, maybe, because we're going to learn about the development. So when you learn about something, it doesn't necessarily mean an explanation. So I like topic more than explanation. D, a viewpoint. A viewpoint is a perspective. That means the professor is saying this is good or this is bad. So as a result, this is no because it's not a viewpoint. It's just a historical event. Like if I tell the professor gives his or her views towards the end about what he's teaching or she's teaching when I read it what he's teaching, but it's not a viewpoint that's the focus, the main idea. So B, a topic is discussed and then explained. So makes sense, like farms, industry, then an explanation. An explanation is provided and then detailed. So I hope that you see that when you see B and C, they can look good together. But the main thing is, are we discussing a topic or an explanation? And for me, when we are learning about something, we're learning about the development. So the farming is introduced, farms grew. So the main thing that I feel is the focus is the explanation of a topic. Does that make sense, everybody? So be boy. And the key is, how did we begin? We're beginning learning about the development of something. So it has explanation in it, right? But it doesn't start that way. And you can see that the entire lecture isn't detailing an explanation. That would be more of a lecture if you think if C were correct on a science topic. For example, explaining how glaciers are formed, and every part of the lecture is, part of that process. But this you can see is a little different. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes, no, maybe so. B boy. Good. And if not, let me know. Perfect. Good. Bravo, everybody. Good job. Can you believe that concludes our class? We're done. Great that you all attended. High five. High five. High five. And what I'd like to do in the end is give a special high five. Who was here? So we just completed the training. We covered all question types. I'm going to now talk a little briefly about how to continue working with Noteful. If you like this class and these class series, but we covered everything: main idea, detail, purpose, the way to listen, the structure in our first class, part two. We got inference questions, opinion attitude, listen again, structure. We trained. It's okay if we got some questions wrong. We now understand how to think, how to listen. I hope that you took notes on what you struggled with, sentences that felt new to you, sentences that you maybe tricked you so that you can study and not be tricked again. Bravo, everybody. So, me or not me? Text me in the comments if you were here from the beginning of the class to the end. Oh, let me see here some questions. Awesome. Magdalena, happy that you liked the question. Jawan, B is right, but I'm confused. The topic is then detailed, not explained. Well, when you detail something, you give the facts about it. When you explain something, they're synonyms. So they're not the key thing that made the difference between the question is the difference between a topic and an explanation. Detail and explain, you explain with details. So you can consider those words synonyms. So that's not really the part of the question that tells you which one is correct or incorrect. Like these words are very similar. So they're not really telling you which one is correct or incorrect because they're basically this, they can say this they're the same. But this is where the difference is. So this is what's helping us choose our answer. It's a little bit like, just to be clear, is if I say, Bill is happy, Tom is feeling good. So these they're different words, but really they're synonyms, right? So the way that you choose the answer is it Bill or Tom? Those are the words that carry different meanings. So when you're comparing answer choices, you want to see, okay, what's really similar here? That's always going to be the case. So I'm not going to focus on that. Which words are the most different? That really do have a different meaning, like Bill and Tom, topic and explanation. And then just take a deep breath. What did you initially think when you saw the question? And then that's what you choose and move on from. So great question. Appreciate you, everybody. Beta, thank you for attending. I'm super happy. How to answer detailed questions that have a sequence or order in it. So that's when you get these lectures that explain processes. And as a result of that, it really is visualization. So you have the idea of what you're being taught in the lecture in your short term memory and the way you take notes. So that would be how you answer that detailed question with visualizing when you get like a series of events or series of steps, and also notes on each of those steps. And we have a class on note taking also in our lives that you can review, like you can review in YouTube or Facebook. However, that would be how you answer it. So it's really a test of short-term memory and picking things up. So Amar Zaya, thank you. Eslam, high five. You asked that question from beginning to end. Romani, Gina, Celine, appreciate each of you. Magdalena, Siham, love it. EB, Monica, Marcelene, welcome. Vanessa, Jonathan, Dax, Uhiel. Look at all these. You're superstars. From beginning to end, be proud of yourself. Have a great weekend. I'm just going to spend the next few minutes talking about how to work with Noteful for those of you not already working with us, but want to start training all TOEFL sections together. Shital, Human, great job. Love it. Sophia, Beta, love it. So, Gloria, you're welcome. Joanne, I think your questions are way more difficult than the TOEFL ones. Sometimes, yes. No problem. I agree. These were tricky. However, feel comfortable that you learned something. Breathe, review this class, and as you continue training, you'll see that it helps you do better with other questions. So these were, yes, trickier. So feel comfortable in that. And sometimes when I do training, I bring simpler questions to build skills. Sometimes I match the level, so it's just normal. And sometimes I present some things that are a bit challenging just for variety. These were a bit more on the challenging side. The lecture was more on the simple side, but the questions more challenging. So you see that variety. But I hope you now understand them all. Oh, Joanna, I have a problem with insert types of questions. So that's for the TOEFL reading, and I'll keep that in mind for future classes. Insert questions, like we call them plug-in as well. Super challenging question type for many. I'll make a note of it for a future live because we're going to be scheduling our next one soon. How to reconcentrate if we are disconnected with the reading. So, going back to the reading or even the listening on the TOEFL to answer when you feel disconnected, the most important thing, the only thing you can do, in my opinion, I wish I had something different, but this is actually quite powerful, is close your eyes, take a deep breath, and tell yourself, I'm going to focus, I'm okay. And oftentimes that statement, remind yourself of the importance of the TOEFL, your future, your career, the money you're investing, the time it's taking. So if you tell yourself how important it is, this is an investment, like this is a big deal, not to give yourself pressure. It's like, I am going to pay attention because this really is important to me and this is for my future. So not only does the deep breathing and closing your eyes help you center yourself, I can do it, but remind this is important. This is an important part of my life, passing this exam. So I'm going to really listen carefully. That's going to be tremendously helpful. Dak, appreciate you. Mayor, I think details is related to the fact that professor told us about historical events, not discussing and providing examples. Got you. And I think in the review, I hope it makes more sense and it clarifies. I believe that you're saying that you agree and are clear why B is the answer, which is great for the last structure question we did. Appreciate you, everybody. Karem from beginning to end. So the next live class we haven't scheduled yet. When we do, you're going to see it posted on the platform. So make sure you're following us on Facebook, you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're connected with us via LinkedIn, however you're attending. And then we're going to post to show you when the next live is. Probably in 4 weeks. 4 weeks will be our next live, and we'll say what it'll be about for you and everybody. Good, good, everybody. Love it. Seeing the comments here. There's no fall for a course where we can get feedback on our writing. Not at the moment, only through our small group tutoring and sometimes in our classes. I'll talk about that. But at the moment, we don't have, this is your score. These are the things to work on for an individual student. But we're planning on bringing it in the future, but not at the moment. Haha. Appreciate you, Celine. You are very kind. I appreciate your preference. Very cool. But a lot of great teachers out there too. So make sure you're studying hard. Everybody wants to help you. Next gold course, I'm going to talk about that soon. We're in our current gold course. The next gold course, our online classes will be in, wow, already May, getting into the second half of the year. Watching from the Bahamas. That sounds amazing, Samuel. Awesome. All right. Yeah, Celine, in the gold course, appreciate you. Armaziah, looking forward to the next live coming soon. Not watch from the beginning to end, but you will. Appreciate you, Celine, Jawan. So now, any other questions? Bring them in. I'm just going to discuss where we are in our Noteful training, so how we can work together to improve. And as I said before, I'm thrilled because I'm getting more and more messages from students about their success and passing. So I want you to know you're not alone. The training works. I think the changes in the exam are, and everything coming together is really helping. So to keep working together on all sections, we have courses that are going to help you to succeed. This is my favorite quote from Ahmed, though every success story says amazing quotes we love. I wish I started sooner. Bravo to each of you here. So just a reminder, make sure that you start preparing now seriously, because the benefits of a course is it forces you to study and it organizes things. But as I say, a reminder, our success stories regularly say the hard work, right? You don't want to study. Sometimes you get bored, you get disconnected, but the most important thing is to keep pushing yourself. Study 12 to 24 hours a week. It's the ideal amount of study time for the best improvement every week. Sometimes you need breaks, but push yourself. It's an important part of your life. Easy for me to say. So I don't want to give you pressure, but just the encouragement. You're not alone in sacrificing, in pushing yourself. Every success story had to do it too. Have faith in yourself. Sometimes, as you study week by week, you don't see the results come as quickly as you'd like. But if you're studying, if you're dedicated, those of you here, you clearly are. Just keep breathing. Remember Froggy and Ahmed, just like you. We've had students improve 30, 40, 50 points. We've had students sometimes need years to improve 2 or 3 points. Everyone has a unique journey. Just know it will end. Keep it up, and you will pass. And Ahmed shares his amazing score: reading 28, listening 29, speaking 26, writing 27. We've had students score perfects in all of these sections, any of them. So it's all possible, right? Your goal is coming. So the way that we can help you is that we're already, so here's Ahmed's. And we just finished the success story interview with Ahmed, so we're going to be posting that soon. So I just want to share with you what's possible. So this is what he texted me. If you can't see, his initial score was 65, March 26, 2022, and with about 2 years of hard work, he raised it to 101. Deep, detailed training. We're going to release that interview on YouTube in the coming weeks, along with others. So be aware of that. We'll also be posting it on Facebook, not so much on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, make sure you're also following us on Facebook and YouTube. So sky's the limit. Send this picture to anyone who told you it is impossible, right? So make sure that you know this is coming with hard work and focus. We are in the middle of our gold course. So I still think for those of you who really want to get full training together, these courses are intense and focused on training more than practice. Like, you have the practice you need, but this is about building all your skills so that you can really score high, right? 65 to 101 is not from a lot of practice, it's from a lot of detailed training, going deeper in how you read, how you listen, how you speak, and how you write. And so we are currently right here, March 16th. So we're in week 2 out of 6 of the course, but it's still a really excellent deal, value, because the recordings are up for you to catch up. We have lots of live classes coming. We cover all 4 sections in detail. We have homework there for you to review. So if you need help and you want intense training to guide you through every section, this is still the best option at the moment. We have a few spaces left. And just to remind you, the homework that we have for you to start preparing, right? Because we have our next class on Monday, but you can be ready for it on the listening, is 4 hours of training on how to study, 24 hours of video training to prepare for class. We have 24 hours of training on your academic skills, vocab, reading comprehension, pronunciation, like everything for every section. And then our 24 hours of live classes, the classes that we have passed already are there recorded for you to review, and 20 hours of guided review of live classes. So we teach you how to review the classes to improve more. So it's 100 plus hours to conquer your TOEFL. Your access doesn't expire. You get to study it as long as you need until you pass. That's a real value. That's something different at Noteful than you'll see with many others. So if you need more improvement, there are two things. Review from beginning to end over and over. It's really going to be as helpful as the first time because you can use the course because it has everything to get all the way up to a perfect 120. So you just start over from the beginning and you will improve again. Plus, it comes with our diamond course, which is 200 plus hours of our TOEFL training for all four sections, updated with more practice. So, because of all of this, that's why it's really the best way to continue forward, even though we're in the middle and there's some time to catch up if if you join now or as soon as you have a chance. So, for those of you, EB and others, looking for something that you can study on your own schedule, still help you succeed and that you can study faster. So we have our diamond course. So our diamond course, and I'll show you on the site. So when you go to noteful.com, you go to TOEFL Prep, and there you see all of our courses, right? Noteful.com, Noteful, TOEFL Prep. You have the self study training. You see here our diamond course, our ultra fast course, our free course. I'll talk about each in a minute. We have the online classes. That's our gold course I just told you about, the 24 hours. Everything is right here. Miracle March and April gold course. And I think we have maybe one space in the speaking if it hasn't sold out yet, and a few spaces left in the writing if you just want help with that. And for the speaking and writing, though you don't get individual feedback in the classes, you do I do ask for volunteers, so you absolutely may be chosen, and we keep the class size limited. So a lot of students do get to try, but you may or may not. But you get to hear your classmates, learn how to evaluate yourself, and as a result, get the benefit of the class, which is to improve and get better. So if we scroll down here, that's where the courses are to join. And you just join, you start right away. All courses you have for as long as you need. So the Diamond course is the best for deep study at your own schedule, everything you need to pass. For those of you looking for fast improvement, EB, we have our ultra fast course. So if you have 16 hours, we'll take you through all four sections, the key fundamental things to improve with some bonuses. And as with all our courses, the way we design it is review, review, review. So we call this about 16 to 32 hours because I do hope and expect that you complete the course and then review it at least once from beginning to end to get the most benefit. For the fastest improvement and just for maybe more help, more tips, more training, we have our free course as well. So that's about 4 hours of training through a mini practice TOEFL test, reading, listening, speaking, writing with example answers. So really great, even for our students that have the diamond course, you know, the free course with that extra tips and helps, just more practice to work with. So I invite you to join. Want to work with each and every one of you. That concludes our live. I hope you like the pattern. We've developed it, and I think it works well where we talk in the beginning, connect as a group, we do the training. I invite you to work together, give you motivation and encouragement. Success is possible. Just look at that. And I love our energy in our community because I know when you pass, very likely you'll do the same thing, which is share your success so that other students just like you right now. If you're doubting, if you're worried, you can really see, yeah, I can do it. And you sometimes need that encouragement. So with that said, everybody, success is possible. We're closing the live. Until next time, everybody, check your social media to see when we come next. It was a pleasure. Have a wonderful weekend. See many of my students on Monday. Those of you who join on Monday for training and classes too. So until next time, let me just put a little music here. Outro music. There we go. Until next time, this is Joseph from Noteful. Your success is coming. Great to be with you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye, everybody. Good job today. Bye bye.